Hello again, everyone, and welcome back. This week we have a lot to discuss, but before we get into it, I've got a bit of an update. In case you couldn't tell, I have not been uploading once every 2 weeks like I said. I'm finding that if I were to record every 2 weeks, I would not have a whole lot to talk about, since I usually only manage my positions a few times every week. So going forward, I'm just going to upload videos whenever I have enough to talk about. With that being said, let's dig into what has happened since last time. As you know, we are in a war with Iran at the moment, causing oil prices to skyrocket and increased volatility throughout the market overall. Most stocks have already been hit pretty hard, so the reaction from the start of the war was not too strong. Stocks generally held within their ranges without any crazy sell-offs, at least in the industries I'm watching. So far, these market conditions have been great for covered calls. Since the last update, my Nvidia covered calls have been doing quite nicely, although Nvidia has had a bit of a pump today, getting a little closer to that 190 strike price. I sold some hood covered calls as well, which look like they will expire worthless this Friday. One I probably shouldn't have sold is Rivian. They were looking flat for a while, but Rivian had some great performance today, so these covered calls are now in the red. There is still a really good chance this covered call expires worthless, but if it doesn't, I'm prepared to wheel this stock. That would be letting my shares get called away, then selling cash secured puts when the stock dips, to either collect a premium or to buy my shares back at a lower price. Do that over and over again, and we have what's called the wheeling method. This was probably the worst explanation of wheeling options, so if you want to know more, there are plenty of resources out there for you. I am pretty bullish on Rivian, so I'd like to eventually build up a larger position, but that is my plan for the short term. So let's talk about what positions I exited. Starting with COPX, seeing all the war volatility, I just wanted out of the metals for now, and ended up timing it pretty well, which is very rare for me. I sold my small position in the 90s. I also got rid of some of my VG calls, 2 to be exact. I love VG, but when oil prices are going crazy like they are, I can't not take some profits. I still have 5 VG leaps and would like to keep accumulating this one, but it's quite overextended for now, so I'll be waiting for this one to settle down a bit before buying again. And I believe that's all the positions I sold since last video. But I have also been getting busy buying too. Nanonuclear suffered very heavily over the past few weeks, reaching the low 20s yesterday, which is exactly what I've been waiting on to fill out this position. I'm now at 90 shares, planning to get to 100 very soon. I could see this one dropping even further, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see prices below the 20s. But I'm not too worried about the short term with this one. I might even try for 200 shares if we get a big enough discount. I also started buying up AG&C investments for some diversity. AG&C is a real estate investment trust with a dividend yield of over 13%. This is not really good for selling covered calls or puts, but it's more of a sit it and forget it kind of position. I'll be buying more of this one occasionally when I want to branch away from the growth sectors. Another interesting position I started up this week is Honeywell, going straight for some options. I bought one $250 call for September of this year. I do tend to avoid these shorter dated calls unless I see a good opportunity. Honeywell has some strong catalysts in the short term, namely the company split that will be occurring towards the second half of this year. This is going to be very similar to the General Electric split a few years back, which really benefited the General Electric company overall. To keep it short, I believe that Honeywell is worth more as 3 individual companies than one single company. I don't want to be holding a short-dated out-of-the-money call for very long, so I'm really only planning on holding this position until Honeywell makes it to around 260, which would be about an 8% bump on the stock price. And that covers everything I bought this week. Oh, and since this video was delayed, it extended through 2 paychecks, so I did deposit $2,000 since the last video. Very nice. Well, that's everything I have for you this week. Thanks for listening. I hope you tune in for the next one, and have a great day.